I'm sorry about the state of me. I've got my fake tan on brewing because I have about 3 hours to get this filmed, edited, uploaded because I'm busy tomorrow and it's due tomorrow. But what a great reading month we've had. So it would be rude not to talk about it. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Lauren, or welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. Like I said in the intro, I'm sorry about the absolute monstrosity of a state. Today has not gone to plan in terms of timings. So my plan was that I was going to run and go to uni and fake tan and film this video all separately. However, I didn't run this morning. Then I went to uni and my run took longer than expected. And so I don't have a lot of time to film this and get this edited and uploaded. You guys are getting me with fake tan on and brewing, so I am sorry about the absolute state of me. I'm also sorry if I keep looking above you because, guys, if you're a football fan, you'll understand. If you're not, I'm sorry. So my hometown is Plymouth, and we recently beat Liverpool in the FA Cup, which is miraculous, okay? So that means we are currently playing Manchester City. Like I said, my timings are all out, so I hoped to have at least this filming done before the game started so I could sit down, and I don't mind editing with the game on. However, I did not, and so I have the game on in the background. So if you see me look up, it's because of that. I don't imagine us winning, so I don't imagine it being that much of a distraction, but just wanted to let you know. To start off the video, let's start off with my stats. As always, I'll put my picture up here, but this month I read 10 books. Amazing. It was a slog of a month, really. I have definitely found myself getting slumpy, which is not nice. And with that in mind, obviously I'd already pre-filmed March's TBR and I had 8 books on that TBR. I also have a further extra 5 on top of that for videos this month. So I have decided from April's TBR onwards, I'm going to change it. I think I'm going to do 4, maybe 5 books with a TBR jar, depending on if I pull books that I can use for one of my videos, which I've pre-planned now quite far in advance, then I can add a few more prompts in there. But I find that making an 8-book TBR and then, like this month, the books that I want to read for videos are extra. I have now a 13-book TBR, which I've read 13 books before and I'm going to try again this month, but it isn't always feasible. I also have 2 uni deadlines this month. I've also got to go home a couple of times. So it's a lot at the moment. So I feel like that's making me slump. It's not, I can't complain because realistically I love reading. However, I do feel the pressure on reading is becoming a bit much. So I think I'm going to do from April's TBR, 4 or 5 books from the TBR prompt jar. And then depending how many, I want to keep up with like the 8-book TBR, but I want to have the freedom of free picking the last few. So what I will do is in those videos, I will do my four books from the prompts. Then I will tell you what other 4 books I'm going to put on the TBR. So I will just choose 4. And I think for now, that will be a good way of doing it. After that, then maybe as we go further on, or I get a slightly less workload with uni, or I'm in a bit of a funny mental space at the moment. If I get through that, then we might be able to go back to our 8-book TBRs that we've been having. But for now, I think I'm going to change up my TBR. So how did I go from stats to that? I don't know. But continuing on with our stats. So I read 10 books this month. I read a total of 3,759 pages, which gives you an average page count of 121 pages per day and around 376 pages a book. My most read genre was literary fiction and I hauled 14 books. To explain that, it's my birthday in February, so I got a few of those for my birthday. And also, oh sorry, that was nearly a goal. And I also have been keeping an eye on kind of Kindle deals and books that are on my radar that I want to get to for series and stuff like that are going down to 99p. So that's my explanation. Out of my 8-book TBR, again, I'll put it here, I read all 8 books, so that's incredible. And yeah, without further ado, I'm going to try and keep this video short and sweet because, again, from next month, things are changing on the channel. So not only are my TBRs going to look slightly different, I'm also going to hopefully have it so that we get 2 videos out a week, one on a Wednesday, one on a Sunday, which will mean that my wrap-ups of my TBRs will be on a Wednesday, and I want my Wednesday videos to be slightly shorter, more chatty videos, and then my Sundays to be more reading vlogs and those longer style videos. So let's keep this one kind of short and snappy. Let's get into it. Okay, first book I read in February was Happy Place by Emily Henry. Wow, what a book. 5 stars. This book follows 2 people who were married and have recently or have decided to split up, but they haven't told their friends, and every year they go on a vacation as friends. And so this year they've decided to both go on the vacation, and whilst on that vacation lie basically to their friends and say that they're still married. And it's just them figuring that out and seeing how they navigate that. The book has incredible friendship views and an understanding, and I loved it. If you want to hear my in-depth thoughts on the first 4 books, then go and watch my reading romance books for Valentine's Day, because it has those 4 in and there is a lot more detail. So yeah, 5 stars, Happy Place, incredible. I would recommend, and it is worth all the hype. Okay, book number 2 was, wrong book, Loveless by Alice Osman. I listened to this one on an audiobook. Again, it's in my reading romance books vlog. It's not really a romance book, and I went into that in the video. It's more literary fiction, young adult literary fiction about finding your sexuality, understanding who you are as a person, and navigating friendships and friendship breakup. And yeah, I gave this one 4 stars. I feel like it just didn't quite give me that 5-star feel, but was such a lovely book to read. And I really enjoyed Alice Osman's writing, because this is only the second book that I've read from her that's written. So I've read all the Heartstopper series books, but they're obviously graphic novels, and yeah, this really does back up the fact that I like her writing, because although I've read Nick and Charlie, I knew their story, I knew I liked them as characters. This is meeting new characters, and yeah, incredible. Again, would recommend. The next book I read, Loving the Time of Serial Killers, 2 stars. 2 stars. I mean, again, more in-depth thoughts on reading romance books. It was boring. Boring. The premise sounds amazing. She's obsessed with serial killers. She thinks her next door neighbour's a serial killer, and she then ends up understanding if she's falling in love with him or not. However, like, he did 1 or 2 things that were slightly suspicious, and that was it. And then they were good, and she didn't suspect anything anymore. Baffled. I think if the suspicious things had carried on throughout the book, you know from the back of the book that he's not a serial killer, or that you believe he is a nice person and he shouldn't be a serial killer. So I feel like if you continued on throughout the story with him doing suspicious things, and as a reader you're still very much doing that, is he, isn't he, I don't know, or I can at least understand why she thought that, fine. But it was like 2 things, first half of the book, then the second half of the book was boring, absolutely boring. Yeah, not good. The next book I read, I finally did it. I read Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, and I loved it. 4 stars I gave this book. I mean, I listened to this book a lot on audiobook, and I started listening to this on audiobook on my drive home for my birthday. So I got up in the morning, I was in my car by 6:30, driving along, and this book is spicy. And the spice started quite early on, like 28% early on, because I was driving along and it was at 7:30, so I'd listened to it for about an hour. I remember this. It was either 28% or 18%, and there was spice. And I'm driving along, bimbling along, like listening to the book, going, it's a 5-hour car journey. I think it took me 5 hours, 5.5 hours to get from Liverpool to Plymouth. And so I'm in the early stages of, still got a long drive ahead of me, and whoa, spice. Incredible. Definitely worth the hype. Would recommend. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to see where Wildfire goes and where Daydream goes, because I've now, as you can see, got Daydream. I got it for my birthday. So yeah, I'm very excited to get into the rest of the series as well. Wildfire is on my TBR for this month, so that will be something to look forward to. And yeah, really enjoyed it. 4 stars. Okay, I then went on a bit of a 3-star vibe. And so the first book I read, I don't have physically, I read Stanley Yelnats' Survival Guide to Camp Green. So this is book 2 in the Holes series, and this basically follows the main character from Holes further on into the future after he's left the camp. And just if you're reading it, it's basically his survival guide of what you should do if you find yourself going to the camp. And so it was 3 stars. It didn't add anything to the story, and I feel like if I read them when I was a young adult, then maybe I would have enjoyed it more. If I'd read it maybe on the back of Holes and like got a bit more of an understanding, you got a bit more information information about some of the characters and some of the scenarios, then I think it would have been really good. For me as an adult, it's not quite Holes, and I do really enjoy Holes, and that's a very nostalgic read for me. This just, yeah, 3 stars, it was middle of the road. Following on from that, I then read Small Steps, again by Lewis Shaw. This follows Armpit, which is one of the main characters in Holes, and it follows Armpit years later on into the future. He's kind of turned his life around, he's gone back to school, he's continuing on with life, he's working for not a building company, but basically they dig holes for like waterworks and pipeworks to go through. They live in Austin, and he gets himself into a bit of trouble with one of the other guys. X-Ray. He gets himself into a bit of trouble with X-Ray in terms of selling, not counterfeit, but selling tickets for a concert. So basically they go out, they bought I think 6 or 7 tickets for this concert, who's well known, and they bought all the tickets and then they're selling them for obviously a lot more money. And it's just navigating through that because he doesn't want to get himself in any more trouble, he doesn't want to go back to prison, and he's got a lovely friend who's his next door neighbour, a little girl who suffers quite badly with epilepsy, and that plays a bit of a part in it, and you can see he's got a very sweet side. And yeah, I did really enjoy this book. Again, it's 3 stars. It was very YA, which isn't a bad thing because it's for a YA audience, and like I say, if I'd have read this when I was a young adult, I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more. I think I enjoyed Holes now as an adult because it had that nostalgia feel. This doesn't have that because I have never read it before. And so yeah, 3 stars. It was good. It wasn't anything amazing. If you're wanting to read it, it's not a bad read, but it's also not one I would run out and say you have to continue on the series, you have to read the sequel, because it doesn't add that much to it. And then again, another 3 stars, and this is Shiver by Ali Reynolds. I don't know what happened to this book. I really don't, because I started reading this when my mum and grandma were up here, I think. So I started reading this, and the start of it, I was like, oh, this is a bit creepy, this is a bit scary, this is a bit eerie, and it went nowhere. I mean, the ending was very far-fetched. I can't even tell you much about this book. It's about this group of friends. One of their friends years ago went missing. She's murdered. The rest of the group all meet up. I think it was 10 or 20, maybe even 25 years later, to have a reunion, and they all think someone different invited them, and they meet up back at the ski place where they met the first time, but basically no one really knows who invited them. There's no staff there. It's really eerie, and it has an eerie feel, but it just doesn't continue. It's quite a long book for a thriller. It's 421 pages, so it's quite a long book for a thriller, and it doesn't warrant it. It doesn't sustain the thrilling action, and I feel like had Ali maybe cut out a little bit of it, it would have been more impactful and kept kind of the eerie side of it. But a lot of it's following the main character and her kind of relationships. And I think as well, the other thing that kind of brought it back was every other chapter was 10 years ago. So every chapter, like one chapter would be in the now, and that would be eerie and suspenseful, and you'd be like, oh gosh, what's going on? And then the next chapter would be 10 years ago, and nothing dodgy happened 10 years ago other than the main event of this friend going missing. But you're not exploring kind of you're exploring the lead up to that event. You're exploring how they all became friends, and the main character and the girl had a bit of a rocky relationship, and you're exploring that, and you're seeing about what happened 10 years ago. And I feel like had that been, maybe you started with a prologue of something to do with where they are now, and then you had done maybe 2 or 3 chapters of 10 years ago, setting the scene, setting them, and then kept up with the eerie, it would have been better. But it wasn't. It was jump start, and that's just not, it didn't keep up the suspense. And I feel like had Ali got rid of some of those chapters, it would have been better. But it's an okay thriller. If you're not like it, if you don't like proper thriller and you want more of it has thriller elements, so it is suspenseful. If you're one of those people that get scared easily, maybe don't read it. But if you're one of those people that you like a little bit of suspense but not constantly making you feel kind of anxious all the time, this might be a good book for you, because like I say, those 10 years ago chapters really do kind of reset. And yeah, so it was okay. I enjoyed it. It was just not anything amazing. Now, the next book, I'll have you know, is a non-fiction book. I know, I'm a reader, and I'm reading to boost my intellectual ability. I read Shine by Andy Cope and Gavin Otis. This book's funny. This book is funny. Gavin is actually quite funny. It is a self-help book on rediscovering your energy, happiness and purpose, and it basically just gives you things to develop your shine, and I really enjoyed it. It has made me question life which hasn't been great on my mental health, but it's made me question life in a good way. And yeah, I gave this one 5 stars. I thought it was really good and really insightful, and like I say, it is funny, and what more do you need from a self-help book than it being funny? And I actually read this really quick. I think I read this over 2 days, 2 maybe 3 days. The writing in it's quite nice. It's got like pictures in it, and it's got nice writing in it. It's not one of those self-help books with really tiny writing, and it's also not a self-help book which promises you the world. It doesn't tell you you're going to be an amazing person, but you've got about 15 steps that you need to implement into your life, or with all your habits you need to absolutely change your whole routine in life, because it's not realistic to do that. So 5 stars. If you are wanting a good self-help book that's just funny, down to earth, or you're feeling a bit low and you want to reevaluate where you are in life, then this is a good one to go for. Okay, this next book is a brick. Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. Please tell me why I needed to read this. Please, can someone tell me why this was made? I'm waiting, because I don't think I'm going to get an answer. What was the point? A nearly 800 page book, for what reason? This, if you can't tell, it wasn't a 1 star because it wasn't quite that bad, and I do enjoy the Twilight series. It was a 2 star. This book, unnecessary, absolutely unnecessary. For this chunk as well, so this book is from Edward's point of view. If you've read the Twilight series, they follow Bella and Edward is a vampire and Bella is a human, and basically they fall in love. But obviously there's massive complications coming with that. This book is massive. It's bigger than Twilight 1, okay? So I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be kind of his point of view throughout all 4 books, because there's only 1 book out from Edward. Please tell me why this book's so chunky and it's only on book 1. Like, I want to know, spoilers coming in, I will put timestamp when I stop talking about this book, but I'm hoping most people have read the Twilight series or have at least seen the film. Like, I want to know what he was thinking when he left. You know, when he left and she goes back, or she starts seeing Jacob, I want to know what he was thinking then. I want to know what he was thinking when they went to the Volturi and she was with him. I want to know what he was thinking throughout the whole series, okay? Not just a chunk of a book for 1 book of the Twilight series. I want to know what he was thinking when Bella was pregnant and was dying from having his baby. But no, this is what we got. I failed to see where the need in this book was. Like I said, I gave it 2 stars. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever read in the world. I listened to it on audiobook, which was good, and I thought the narrator of it was good and he did tell the story well. However, it's just a not needed book. If you've read the series and you enjoyed the series, you don't need to read this. But if you want Edward's point of view from literally just book 1, help yourself. 740 odd pages. Okay, and the last book of the month, and I fear the most controversial opinion of this book so far, of this video so far, because most of them I feel are the popular books. Sorry, Man City have just hit the crossbar. Most of them, I feel like the popular books have been at the right level. Tomorrow. I didn't like it. I gave it 3 stars. So it's not I didn't like it, it's just that I'm not a gamer, nor have I ever been a gamer, nor have I ever understood gaming. I mean, my favourite thing to do on a game, aka FIFA, is to press the Y button so the footballers fall over, because I don't know how to do anything else. And so this book is very technical and it just wasn't for me. I don't know why. I just didn't really connect with the characters, and I feel like maybe it was a time crunch in terms of I wanted to get it done before the end of the month. But yeah, it was a very bit game based, and I feel like there was a whole part, I think it was part 7 quite near the end, that was from 2 characters within a game. It was from the point of view of 2 characters within a game, and it just wasn't for me, and I feel like that's okay. I know some people that have enjoyed this book that aren't gamers. I know some people that are gamers that have enjoyed this book, and I am an anomaly in this opinion. Most people love this book and rave about it. All I've ever heard is good things about this book, but it just wasn't for me. But I'm glad I read it, because it's one of the books that, like I say, most people love and has intrigued me. This book has intrigued me, and I have wanted to know why people love it, what the storyline is, and I went into it relatively blind. I will say I thought it was more romancy than what it was. I knew it was literary fiction, however, I thought there was more of an element of romance in it than what there was. But again, I did enjoy it. I would recommend, however, it wasn't the best in my opinion. I do feel like it's very much an outsider point of view that it wasn't the best. Okay guys, that is well, there's 9 books here, but that's my wrap up of the 10 books that I have read this month. I hope you have enjoyed. Like I said, some things are changing on this channel within the next month. I've kept my scheduled plan for March the same. So in March, there will still only be a video on a Sunday. However, from I think April, the aim is 2 videos a week. Please don't hold me to that, but I am going to try and pre-film some of them videos this month when I have got a little bit more time. So some of the more sit-down videos, getting to know me videos, which my answers won't really change. I'm going to try and film them, pre-film them and get them uploaded, ready to kind of go, and then we can take these videos as they come. But yeah, and my TBRs are changing as well, because I feel like I read 10 books this month and 8 of them were from my TBR, which was great. However, would I have got to all 10 of these books this month and put them all in one month? No. Was I excited for all of them? Not really. I mean, the 2 extra books that I read were Stanley Yelnats and Small Steps, and the only reason I read them was because I borrowed Small Steps from the library. One day I just went on, saw it was available and went, oh, I'll go and grab it. So it wasn't even like my extra 2 books that were a mood read were really mood reading for me. And like I said, I've got a very strong month of reading next month required, and I'm feeling a little bit, I'm getting to that point of being burnt out, and I really don't like not doing my TBRs. So I feel like having the TBR where it's 4 books from the jar and 4 books, me choosing myself, knowing what videos I've got planned in mind, knowing what books I need to read for those videos, whether I do those 4 books and it's just those books that I need to read, or whether I do 4 books of books that are just actually calling out to me, because I've got so many books on this TBR cup I really want to get to, and there are quite a few on there that I'm not that fussed. I want to get to all of them, but there are some, like I got Daisy Jones and the Six for my birthday, and Daydream and Hits Different, that are really popular at the moment, I really want to get to, and there are some that I'm just not overly fussed about. Things like The Girl Before or Room I've had on my TBR for quite a while, and so I'm not massively fussed. But yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Like I say, I've tried to keep it short and sweet, but I have rambled on a little bit about how things are going to be changing, so I hope that's not too bad for you. But yeah, I will see you guys next week. I'm not even sure what next week's video is. I do actually know, and I'm currently reading the book that's going to be in it, so that's very exciting. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. As I'm filming this, I'm actually 97 subscribers, which honestly is mind-blowing. I have got 3 subscribers left to get to 100, which is just incredible. When I started this, I thought maybe my family and friends might subscribe. I might maybe get some from my Bookstagram subscribing, so I might hit 50 subscribers. That was kind of my aim, and I hit 50. And then I've been growing a little bit quicker recently, and so I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so close to 100, and just I feel so much happiness doing this. And so that's why I want to increase my upload schedule and try and be more on top of it and give you guys more content, and hopefully that will give me a lot more to smile about, because at the moment, with things going on at uni, I'm at the end of my masters and I'm trying to write a dissertation and work and figure things out of my next steps, and it's just a lot. So doing things like this that make me happy is what's important. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure you do like the video, comment anything you want to comment down below, comment the books that you've read this month or your favourite read of the month, and yeah, subscribe if you would like to. I would love to see you guys back next week. Bye!